You're not being detained.
So am I free to go?
And by all means, if you do leave, it does mean that we would be able to use powers to arrest you.
Tonight's encounter starts with a man filming outside a police station. And within minutes, officers are throwing around words like terrorism, arrest, and even potential seizure of camera equipment, all without clearly identifying a crime. But here's where this gets interesting. The more questions the auditor asks, the less certain the officers appear to become. Was this a legitimate security concern, or did lawful filming instantly become suspicious simply because a camera was pointed at police? Stick around, because this interaction spirals into a legal tug-of-war over public photography, stop and account powers, and one very important question: if you're not detained, are you actually free to leave?
What?
Can I take your details?
Am I obliged to?
Yeah, obviously with the current climate, you're acting a bit strangely filming a police station.
No, I just told you what I'm doing. Photography's not a crime. I'm sat here, I'm waiting to get some pictures of a police car going in and out of the police station to finish off a story that I've been working on.
Yeah,
so I'm not obliged to give you my details because I haven't broken any laws.
Do you mind not putting that in my face?
Well, it's not in your face and you came up to me, so...
Yeah, because you're filming a police station.
Well, that's not against the law though, is it?
No, but it's suspicious, strange behaviour.
It is quite suspicious.
No, I don't think it is. And terrorism or current climate has nothing to do with it. Terrorism in Waterlooville, I don't think so.
It can happen anywhere, and it would cause us concern that you're sat here constantly filming a police station.
Well, why are you saying constantly?
Because
I've been sat here for 20 minutes waiting for a car to come round the corner to go into the police station, which is what I wanted to capture.
Which we did.
Yeah.
So once that happened, I'd expect you to stop.
Yeah, you continue to film.
Because you got what you wanted.
Yeah.
And left. If that was
because you got out of the car and then you started walking over here.
This is the moment where the entire interaction begins shifting from curiosity into potential overreach. Notice what's happening carefully. Instead of clearly explaining a specific legal threshold, the justification keeps expanding: first suspicious behavior, then the current climate, and now references to terrorism legislation. That escalation matters because anti-terror powers are not meant to be vague conversational tools. Officers still need an objectively reasonable basis tied to actual behavior, not just discomfort with being recorded. And viewers should pay attention to another detail here. The auditor repeatedly asks what law he's actually breaking, while the officers continue focusing on obtaining his personal information. That disconnect is huge. If there's no identifiable offense, what exactly is the lawful basis for demanding details? Let me know in the comments. Do you think the officers genuinely believed a crime was taking place here, or were they reacting emotionally to being filmed outside their own station?
You just turned yours on.
Mine's on already.
Alright, well that's fine. Well, that's fine. You're recording me and I'm recording you. But I'm not obliged to give you my details because I haven't broken any laws. Okay? And being suspicious is not a crime either.
You can appreciate though, given the current climate and terrorism being an issue, you are sat here.
There's no terrorism in Waterlooville. Yeah. Oh, and understand why you come over to speak to me, but coming over and like, oh, we'll get your details, blah blah blah, I'm not obliged to do that.
Obviously, I'm engaging in a conversation with you.
Yeah. And I told you what I was.
I'm PC Morris.
I told you what I was doing.
Waterlooville Police Station. All I asked was for your details. You could introduce yourself.
I explained to you what I was doing.
And I understand that. All I asked was for your details, for your name.
No, you don't need my name.
No?
No, because
you
fine. Stick it in your computer and it stays there forever.
It's not that it was honestly from me to engage in a conversation with you. Appreciate it. Obviously,
I've just spoken to my sergeant as well.
Yeah.
Under the Terrorism Act, with the climate as severe and the way you're acting, I will need your details.
You know, the logic starts collapsing under its own weight. One of the biggest misconceptions in public interactions is the idea that refusing to identify yourself automatically creates grounds for arrest. In many situations, it simply doesn't. Police powers generally work in reverse. Officers must first establish lawful grounds connected to a specific offense or statutory authority before demanding compliance. You can also hear the tension building because the auditor clearly understands that difference. And honestly, this is where these encounters often become uncomfortable to watch. Instead of de-escalating once it becomes obvious the filming itself is lawful, the conversation keeps circling back to pressure tactics, seizure threats, notebook entries, and repeated references to terrorism. That's risky territory because once officers invoke powers they can't clearly articulate, every later action becomes harder to justify. Question for you guys: if someone is calmly filming from public property and explaining exactly what they're doing, should that alone ever be enough to trigger anti-terror concerns?
Please provide me your
I'm not
details,
obliged to give you my
or it's
details
an
because
arrestable offence.
I haven't broken my
And I can
I haven't
also
broken the
seize
law.
recording equipment if you are filming the police station under the current climate severe. Okay.
It is an
That's not.
It-
And
no,
it's not. That's
anyone
You're not
watching your
providing
you,
videos.
you can't seize my
Anyone
equipment.
watching your videos that you are currently, say, you're live streaming,
Yeah.
will probably agree that under terrorism at the moment, with the risk as it is.
Now this is live streaming
Yeah.
because if you take my phone, it's not on my
I'm
phone.
explaining to you. Yeah, I'm explaining to you the reasons why I'm speaking to you, and all I am requesting for is your details. I'm not going to.
I'm not obliged to get. I've not broken no
If you
laws.
don't give us your details, it gives us grounds to arrest. It's
No,
necessity
no, it's
to
not.
arrest
No, it's
you.
not. That's
Failure to
unlawful
give
arrest.
failure to give
No,
name and
that is
address.
unlawful arrest.
Failure to give a name
I've
and
not broken
address.
no laws, so that would be an unlawful arrest.
Under the Terrorism Act, I'm requiring your name and address because of your behaviour.
The Terrorism Act.
This exchange highlights something incredibly important about accountability. If an officer invokes legal powers, they should be able to explain those powers clearly and confidently. Saying "it's not my job to quote the law" is a dangerous statement in an interaction centered entirely around legal authority. Citizens don't need to memorize every statute on the books, but officers exercising those powers absolutely need to understand the boundaries of what they can and cannot do. And notice another subtle shift here. Once the auditor starts producing written guidance and challenging the claims directly, the officers begin changing the framing of the encounter instead of resolving it. Suddenly, the focus moves from terrorism concerns to whether the station itself is considered public space. That's usually a sign the original justification isn't holding together very well. These moments matter because they show how quickly uncertainty can snowball into escalation when legal thresholds aren't clearly established from the beginning.
I've actually got written permission to sit here and do this.
Right, well, why didn't you tell us that? Can you show us that, please?
Where's your written permission? It's
That's not a public place.
police station. A police station's not a public place.
Well, it's still paid for by the public, isn't it?
It's not a public place though. Under the
Well, this
definition of
where I
public
am
place.
is a public
Yeah,
place,
you're right there.
and I'm allowed to film anything I can see from a public place.
Within reason, but if your actions go beyond that and are suspicious.
Well, my actions aren't gone beyond that. I've told you
Yeah.
exactly what I'm doing. It's to finish off the end of my social experiment blog that I was making.
Well, you're still filming now, so it's.
I'm filming now for my own protection.
Protection from what?
From you. You're standing there threatening to arrest me under terrorism,
No, I'm asking for your
We
name
asked for
and
your
details.
which I'm not obliged to give you unless I've been arrested for a crime.
I don't feel like we've given you any cause for concern about our behaviour.
Well, he's threatening to arrest me under the
He's not
Terrorism
threatening
Act,
to
which you couldn't
arrest
even
you.
quote to me.
He's not threatening
I'm not going to quote every part of the law.
You're telling me
I don't
by me
memorise
not giving
your
you my
word for word.
details.
That's not my job.
You told me me not giving you my details is an arrestable offence, which it
It's
isn't.
not permission for you to sit here
Which
and
it
film
isn't.
a police station, which is what you've just disclosed to us.
I am perfectly entitled to sit here and film a police station from a public space. In fact, I can even give you the law on photography. There you go.
It says that you do not need a permit to film or
No,
photograph
I don't.
in a public place. It doesn't say anything about filming or taking photographs from a place that isn't public. Photography on private land is not restricted if the landowner has given permission.
I'm on public land.
Yeah, but what we're
But I
talking
can
about
still
is the fact that you're
I
filming
can-
the police station, which is not
From
your house.
that's
Someone
not
else
a house though, is it?
No, but it's not a public place.
Yeah, but if someone wants to stand outside my house in the public and film it, they're allowed to do that by law.
No,
There is no law
there'll
that's
be-
no, there's
there'll
no
be laws
law.
against
No, there's not.
Right.
No, there's not.
After there's permission from one of their bosses in there.
I don't need permission to film
But-
the police station from a public
No, as I've
space.
said, my suspicions are about your behaviour. It's all very strange.
What's suspicious about my behaviour?
You're
Do
not
you think
talking
I'm a
to me normally.
terrorist?
You're not talking to me
Have I got
normally.
have I got any bombs in my
You're
bag?
quite defensive about the fact that
Yes, because you've come over here to stop
there's preparation.
me.
We asked you if
You're
you could
trying to
engage
stop
in
me from
conversation.
filming.
At this stage, the interaction feels less like a criminal investigation and more like a standoff over rights and authority. The auditor is openly explaining why he's live streaming to the cloud because he fears unlawful seizure, while the officers seem surprised that he's thinking ahead about court scrutiny. But that's the key point. Any detention, arrest, or confiscation eventually has to survive legal examination beyond the sidewalk. And viewers should notice how many times the conversation keeps returning to hypothetical powers instead of concrete offenses. We could arrest you, we could seize equipment, we have powers, but powers for what specifically? That question never really gets answered in a clear, direct way. The emotional tension here is what makes this encounter so compelling. Both sides clearly believe they're standing on solid ground, but only one side consistently asks for the actual legal basis behind every threat being made.
And finishing my blog.
You wouldn't even provide me a name.
Well, that's because I don't need to.
All this amounts.
Because I'm not obliged to give you my name, that's
You're
why.
not obliged.
Well,
However,
exactly.
when I approached you to engage in a conversation, and you were quite defensive.
I actually didn't want a conversation. If you had just gone into the police station, I would have left because I got the footage that I wanted.
Yeah, but you can understand that obviously, given the fact that you're sat here filming a police station, it's quite concerning for us.
Why?
For officer safety.
What am I going to do?
You're
What
about to
officer
publish
safety?
a video showing the registration plate of police cars in a police station.
They're in public all day, every single day. Police cars. There's no privacy in public. That's why there's CCTV cameras, millions of them all around the country. I don't think your colleague really should stand there and threaten to take away my camera equipment.
He didn't threaten to take
Yes, he
away
did.
camera equipment.
Yes, he did. It's on camera. It's a threat.
Powers that we have.
You're trying to scare me into, I don't want my phone to be taken. So in order for me to give up my details that I'm not obliged to give you.
If you believe that we wouldn't be able to seize your phone, why would you be recording live to a cloud so that when your phone is taken?
Oh, when my phone's taken?
Well, that's what you said.
Is that what you're saying?
No,
when my phone's... That's why I'm recording to the cloud and not onto my phone.
You said that you record so that if somebody takes your phone,
yep,
that the videos aren't there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I've still got my evidence, because I can't get your evidence off of your camera. If this goes to court for me to get all my camera equipment back.
Why would you assume this was going to go to court?
Because if you're going to take my camera equipment, then it's going to go to court, isn't it?
Why would you assume we were going to take?
Because you would have unlawfully arrested me and unlawfully taken my camera equipment. You're trying to scare me into giving you my details that I'm not obliged to give you. I'm not obliged to give you my details. Well, I don't need to account. I'm sat here doing something perfectly lawful from a public space.
And there it is, the defining contradiction of the entire encounter. The auditor is told he's not detained, yet the moment he attempts to leave, the possibility of arrest suddenly reappears without a clearly identified offense. That's the kind of inconsistency that raises serious questions about whether lawful powers were ever firmly established in the first place. Throughout this interaction, we heard repeated references to terrorism, officer safety, suspicious behavior, and seizure powers, but very little concrete articulation of the actual legal threshold being relied upon. Regardless of where viewers stand emotionally, encounters like this are important because they test the balance between public accountability and police authority in real time. Filming in public may make officers uncomfortable, but discomfort alone is not automatically criminal suspicion. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom and police encounter breakdowns. Your support helps keep these conversations and accountability in the spotlight.
The Terrorism Act and trying to intimidate me.
Giving their details is a necessity that we can use for an arrest.
By making me think he's going to take away my camera equipment.
He didn't say that it was a threat that he was going to arrest you at all.
Okay. Am I being detained?
Sorry?
Am I being detained?
No, it's merely a stopping account. I mean, if you do leave, obviously we do have powers.
Are you going to use those powers if I leave then? Because you just said I'm not being detained, so I'm free to go.
You're not being detained.
So am I free to go?
And by all means, if you do leave, it does mean that we would be able to use powers to arrest you on the grounds of suspicion of an offence.
What offence?
My colleague is speaking to my sergeant at the moment.
So am I free to go?
That's obviously your decision.
And I'm not being detained?
That's obviously your decision.
And I'm free to leave? Am I free to leave? What's that mean?
As I've just explained to you, it's a stop and account.
Have I broken any laws?
At the moment, you are filming a police station.
That's not breaking the.
which
That's
was
not
quite
breaking the law.
concerning, which is why me and my colleague came over to speak to you.
That's not breaking the law, though, is it?
As I explained to you, my colleague has basically gone to speak to my sergeant
Yeah.
to discuss.
Right. Are you detaining me here?
I'm not detaining you.
Right. So am I free to leave?
I would suggest you didn't leave.
Am I free to leave?
I would suggest you didn't leave.
Why?
I would suggest that you didn't leave.
Why?
I have answered your question. What you do next is up to you.
Well, I know what next is up to me, but you just said I'm not being detained, so therefore I'm free to leave because I've broken no laws.
The next move is yours. I've asked you to wait.
Okay, I don't want to wait. I'm going to leave and I'm going to go home. Okay?